So I'm going to do a quick little review on the Model 3 Performance. So this is the new one. So I've got the Model 3 long range, but that's in the Dartford sort of service centre. If you'd have seen previously, it's because of a paint defect, which I'll go and see if they've sort of rectified that. But back onto the Model 3 Performance. So the difference between the old and the new one, as most people know, is the software. So the actual screen and what the screen does. I don't utilise those full sort of specs. So whilst I've been driving it around for a good couple of days now, I haven't utilised those features. So if the camera goes to the screen, so you can essentially do that, which I don't like. It processes faster and stuff like that, which I don't really sort of notice it. So I would say if you're looking for a software update, I wouldn't get the new one for that reason. And I've seen a lot of people sort of comment and say I would get a new one because of the new software and ding ding ding. It depends what you want to do with the car. So I haven't used Grok this entire time. I haven't used any of the features basically that would come with this new. The car is like blisteringly fast, so it's really fast. So if you go from a standstill and you literally just slam your foot down, it is ridiculously quick. And a lot of people have commented on how fast this is. I think it's 0 to 60 in like 2.9 seconds, this new one. So really, really fast. The good thing is you can put it in modes. So if we look at the screen, you've got the chill, which if you put a Tesla in chill, it doesn't matter what car it is, it will be the same acceleration. So let's just say it takes 7 seconds to go 0 to 60. If you have it in chill in my car, which is the long range, and you put it in chill in this car, which is the Performance, the 0 to 60 will be the same, which I think is a really good feature. And then you've got standard, and then you've got insane. One of the new features on this, which I really like and I've enjoyed probably the most, is the ride and handling. So you can choose between standard, which is almost like a comfort setting, and then sport. Sport is really rigid and feels more rigid than my older, so I've got a 2022 long range. It feels more rigid than that. I would say that my long range sort of 2022 model, that is in between this standard and sport mode. The standard mode is really nice. So when you go over speed bumps, I don't go over them fast anyway, but when you go over them, the car feels almost like bouncy. So it doesn't feel rigid. It sort of bounces and absorbs, you know, the impact really well. And that was a massive thing that me and my wife noticed. That's probably the biggest thing, to be honest. I haven't put it in track mode. If you want to see what it can do in track mode and all of those settings, this exact car was used by Matt Watson for the Carwow review. It's like this exact car. The registration number is exactly the same. So he goes through all of those settings, and he does a 0 to 60 run and all that stuff. So the only other elements that I really, really liked was the steering wheel. So the steering wheel, you've got some of the functions. I don't like the indicators being on the steering wheel. I prefer mine, which has got a stalk. But there's some really handy buttons. So there's a button for the camera. There's a button to do the wipers without having to obviously click on any of the stalks. The microphone, aka if you want to sort of use microphone to do something, or rock, flash your headlights. That's all on the steering wheel, which I find really, really good. I could do without all of that, and I could use the stalks as per normal, but the feel of the steering wheel, and I think it's a little bit smaller. Not by much, but I do think it is a tiny bit smaller, which I like. It just feels a bit nicer. Just waiting for this van to get out of my way, just cut across the lanes. So overall, I do like the car. It is a really, really nice car. But if you was looking at getting a brand new one, because of all the new features, if you're going to get a Model 3 Performance because you like a really quick car, then obviously you're going to be more inclined to get that. I do like the range difference with mine. So we drove up to Bicester Village yesterday, and we went from 100% down to, I think it was about 47% in the Performance, which mine, I probably would have still been left on about 65 to like 70%, which is like a big difference. But again, if you're getting the performance for speed, you're not going to be bothered about the mileage and the capacity. I'm just giving you a difference, a bit of a comparable, do you know what I mean? Or a comparison between the two cars. Another thing I like about this new model, I didn't like it at the start, which is like the design. I didn't like it at the start, but I like it now. So like the headlights, they look a bit sharper, they look quite nice. And the carbon fibre styling on this looks really, really nice as well. One thing you can't do on this, I don't know if it's because of an update or what the rationale is, but on this car, you can't choose like your braking mode. So you can only have one pedal driving. So in my car, I have I think it's the creep mode. I think I've creep. So as I let go of the accelerator, it will slow itself down, but then I have to apply the brakes to bring the car to an actual stop. Whereas one pedal driving, as you get really, really slow, the car will apply the brakes for you. So you literally do not touch the brakes at all. So yeah, you can't do that on this. You have to have one pedal driving. Again, I don't know if that's because of an update. I haven't had the car long, it's literally a few days. So overall, car's really, really nice. If you're gonna get one of these, so a new Model 3 Performance, you're not gonna be disappointed. Another note, the seats, not massively comfortable. So they look really cool, but they're not massively comfortable for long journeys. So we was in the car about 2.5 hours yesterday up to Bicester Village, and that's not very long. Some of you guys will commute a lot longer than that, you know, and you might find it comfortable, you might not. It's dependent on people's sizes and everything else, isn't it, and their heights. But I don't find them too comfortable. They're great when you're going fast, they really hug you in. They're heated and they're ventilated as well, which I did get to try out both. I've got the heated seats on now. I tried the ventilated seats and they work really, really well. So if you're somebody in the summer that doesn't want your aircon on, you just want your windows cracked open a little bit, but you're still getting a bit too warm, you can put the seats on, you know, the ventilated seats, and they work really, really well. I was quite impressed with those. But just the way that the seats are shaped, obviously for performance, they don't then lend too much, I found anyway, to comfort. Whereas my seats in the long range, I feel they're a lot more comfortable. We drove in that up to like Staffordshire last year, and that was like 4.5 hours, and I didn't have a blip with those at all. So like my lower back was absolutely fine, my shoulders, everything was absolutely fine. And obviously I've got the seat set up in exactly the same way. So if you don't know that if you flick from Tesla to Tesla, doesn't matter whether it's a courtesy car or anything like that, the car will set your seat up in exactly the same way. That's one of the perks as well. So getting into this car, it knew that I was getting in the car because of my mobile phone, and it set the seat, the steering wheel, the mirrors up in exactly the same way, which is really, really cool. I really like that. But yeah, like I said, overall, really, really nice car, but I've latched onto more of the benefits being towards the comfort side, not the performance side. You know, I thought I was going to sort of finish driving this for a few days, you know, and everything that I would have to say about it positively would be all about the performance, but it's not. The performance sort of side of things wears off quite quick. As soon as you've done a few like 0 to 60s in it and you're used to that acceleration, you know, it's not the sort of the key points, I think anyway, with this car. It's more towards the comfort side, where they've uprated the glass so you don't really hear a lot of road noise compared to my car. The suspension, ding 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 ding, do you know what I mean? So I find it more comfort orientated, the improvements that is. So for example, if you was going to get a new long range or even a new standard that they've brought out, so you get like cloth seats instead of leather, the steering wheel is manually adjusted instead of electric, you get a really, really well priced brand new Model 3. You know, so if you're like me and you sort of lean towards more of the comfort aspects, you know, and a rear wheel drive is fast enough for you, then I would actually recommend getting one of them. And me and my wife have been toying with sort of trading mine in and potentially doing that. But what stops me doing that is the range. you know, so if we want to go on trips and stuff, just having the long range is easier. Obviously my wife is looking at getting a Tesla as well, so me having a long range, it allows me to charge up. We've got one charger at home. It allows me to charge up every 2 or 3 days. So if she gets like a rear wheel drive, for example, which hasn't got, you know, as much capacity, she can then obviously charge up for 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, whatever, you know, whatever it is. But that's obviously dependent on household. I'm just giving you examples as to why obviously the long range, you know, is more suited to me and would be more suited to our family. But yeah, we got 3 kids as well. They fit in the back of this absolutely fine. They really like the car as well. They think like the sort of white/cream seats are really cool. You know, the little space emblem, you know, for the performance. You know, my boy sort of saw that straight away and he was like, oh, it's like a Star Wars thing. Do you know what I mean? The screen in the back, I totally forgot to mention. The screen in the back has been a massive hit with the kids because they can control their seat heater, they can put Netflix on, and then the car will say to you that Netflix is trying to be accessed in the back seats. Do you want to then divert all the sound to the back so then you're not being distracted? So that was a massive hit for the kids, and I think all the new ones with screens in the back do that. So that's not, you know, that's not just for this car, the performance, that's for all the new ones, I believe. But some things obviously, you know, check out. So that was a massive hit, totally forgot to mention that. But yeah, really big hit, so much so that I'll start looking at potentially the capacity to get a rear screen put in mine. So if anybody knows a company, a trustworthy company or a reliable, you know, screen that goes in the back, if anyone's done that themselves, just put it in the comments, because I'll be interested to sort of look into that and potentially get a screen in the back. But yeah, that's about it. If you've got any questions, do you know what I mean, then just post them. I think I've covered the majority of, you know what I mean, information. And I'll do a little, when I get out the car, because I'm on the way to pick up my car now, when I get out the car, I'll do a little quick video clip of the outside so you can see what the outside looks like. But anyone that's looking into this car, you would just look on the internet and look anyway. Do you get what I mean? But this is in red, so I can show you that. The red mixed in with like the carbon fibre bits and bobs. But yeah, that's it. Cheers, see you later.